John Hodges, the creator behind John Hodges Anything Outdoors, is known for sharing immersive camping experiences that celebrate the simplicity of life in nature. But one night would reveal just how unpredictable those quiet moments can be. On a calm evening, John set out, alone to his familiar campsite by the back pond, accompanied only by his dogs, settling in as he always did, unaware the night ahead would take a far more unsettling turn.
All right, I guess I'm out here, a little solo camp this weekend. Got my pups with me though, keeping me company. I'm laying by the fire. I don't know if you can see them. They're pretty close to the fire though. They're enjoying it. I got my little tent up. No, you can't see these woods right now. You've seen this spot before. If you watch my videos, it's my back pond back here. And it's a nice spot. I'm blessed to have it to come to. A lot of people don't have that. Something, get outside and enjoy yourself.
He often shared his appreciation for these moments, urging his viewers to get outside and enjoy life, embracing the tranquility of nature. However, the peaceful atmosphere wouldn't last. As the night deepened, a sudden shift in the environment caught John's attention. He sensed an unseen presence, a feeling that something unknown was lurking just beyond the firelight.
Something out there. He'll be all right. You're all right.
The calm slowly gave way to unease, a creeping sense that he was no longer alone. He tried to reassure himself and his dogs, quietly speaking into the darkness, but the feeling refused to fade. As night deepened, the sense of being watched only grew stronger, turning what should have been a peaceful camp into an unresolved, unsettling vigil. The peaceful camp became a night of quiet dread, leaving him to wonder what unseen presence had disturbed the stillness. Though John and his dogs were never harmed, the question lingered. What was truly out there? watching from beyond the firelight. The mystery was never resolved, but the memory of that night would stay with him far longer than the fading glow of the fire. Spirits may unsettle, but the unknown is far more disturbing. You never know what waits beyond the firelight. Fortunately, John and his dogs stayed safe, guided by instinct and calm. Still, the memory of that night would linger long after the fire burned out. What began in quiet ended without answers. Now, we move on to another encounter where the unknown remains unexplained. Gina is a content creator known for documenting her van life adventures across Alaska's rugged wilderness. But one unexpected change of plans would lead her into a deeply unsettling situation. In October, she set out to camp near the abandoned Igloo Hotel, a notorious landmark left vacant since the 1970s and linked to a grim history involving grizzly bears. When the site was found completely blocked off, Gina made a last-minute decision as daylight faded. She chose to stealth camp at a Russian Orthodox cemetery in Anchorage, unaware of what that choice would soon bring. As she entered the cemetery, she began to film, describing the unique and intricate tombstones around her.
So this is a Russian Orthodox cemetery. I've never been to one of these before, but they have the coolest, I shouldn't be saying cool.
Despite the eerie surroundings, she initially found them cool. However, as darkness deepened, a new, unsettling detail emerged that shattered her composure.
You guys, I'm not making this up right now, but there's a light in front of the church, and when you walk past the light, it turns on. I know, because I walked over there 2 times to look at the cemetery.
A light near the church began flickering on and off on its own. There was no wind, and Gina recalled hearing movement in the bushes earlier while near the gravestones. The unexplained activity immediately put her on edge.
I'm gonna try, though. I do not like how that light keeps turning on and off. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a light that lights up the front of the church. And there it goes. It's turned on twice since I've come back. What do you think it is, guys? Do you think it's animals or wind, or do you think it's ghosts or spirits? Because this cemetery is haunted and it's known.
The flickering light persisted, intensifying Gina's unease. She captured the light turning on twice more, questioning aloud whether it was animals, wind, or something more sinister like ghosts or spirits, especially knowing the cemetery was rumored to be haunted.
Oh my god, it just came. You guys, I am actually getting kind of scared. I don't ever get scared of stuff like this, but what the heck? You guys. Right as I started talking about spirits, the light turned on again.
Just as she began to voice her growing fear about spirits, the light turned on again, chilling her to the bone. Seeking a distraction, she decided to research the colorful boxes she'd observed instead of traditional tombstones.
The name of those colorful boxes they're not tombstones, and they actually call them spirit houses. How cool is that? But how not cool is it is right when I was Googling about the spirit houses, the light in front of the church turned on again.
She discovered they were called spirit houses, symbolizing shelter for the departed soul in the afterlife. But just as she learned this, the light in front of the church flickered on once more. The coincidence was uncanny. leaving her to wonder if the spirits were trying to communicate.
Are the spirits trying to say something, you guys? Seriously? Should I leave or stay?
She questioned whether she should leave or stay, feeling safe inside her vehicle, but dreading the thought of the light flickering all night.
Right as I read that sentence, of course, that light turned on again.
The light, of course, turned on again the moment she read about spirit boxes symbolizing shelter for departed souls.
Okay, I really haven't researched much about this cemetery until right now. Obviously, our plans from earlier got a little messed up. I was going to be camping at the igloo. So this was a quick, last-minute change of plans. Well, I just learned that this cemetery is one of Alaska's most notorious locations for paranormal activity. I cannot make this up. I did not know that until right now.
Gina admitted she hadn't researched the cemetery until then, her original plans for the igloo having fallen through. To her shock, she discovered that this very cemetery was one of Alaska's most notorious locations for paranormal activity.
Because I committed to it, but your girl is scared. I do not like that light coming on and off. It's not even windy outside. I do not want to be around paranormal activity.
Despite her commitment to staying, she confessed she was scared, reiterating that it wasn't windy, yet the light continued to turn on and off.
Oh my god, it won't stop turning on and off. I do not like this, you guys. Oh my, like, this freaking light, it will not stop. What the heck?
The relentless flickering of the light made her consider pulling an all-nighter, unable to sleep.
Every tiny little noise is freaking me out at this point. And that damn light will not stop going on and off. I'm gonna have to just ignore everything and try to lay down and fall asleep. Oh, jeez Louise. Why do I do this to myself? It's only one night, Gina. One night. That's it. Do you guys remember earlier when I said something about getting terrorized and stalked by the spirits? Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Every tiny noise now freaked her out, and the light simply wouldn't stop. She eventually resolved to try and ignore everything, hoping to fall asleep despite her overwhelming anxiety.
I'm doing something weird tonight. I'm not putting my blackout window covers up, which might seem strange, but just in case I have to jump in the front seat in the middle of the night and bounce, I don't want to have to take all the window coverings off before I leave.
As she prepared for sleep, she made an unusual decision. She wouldn't put up her blackout window covers. This choice, she explained, was so she could quickly jump into the front seat and bounce if needed, as she was genuinely scared.
Because I actually am a little bit scared, which I'm surprised of. Kind of thought I was just going to pull up into this cemetery and walk around and then go to sleep, but that's not exactly what has happened. Definitely feeling a presence around me. Not really pleasant, unfortunately. But yeah, it's kind of weird that I'm gonna sleep with all my windows just clear and open.
Gina admitted she was surprised by her own fear, describing a distinct and unpleasant presence around her, and decided it was best to keep her windows uncovered through the night. By just after 7 a.m., she was already leaving the cemetery, the relief in her voice unmistakable. While some viewers suggested the flickering light was a simple malfunction or caused by animals, others couldn't ignore its timing, especially as Gina read about spirit houses and departed souls. Whatever caused that unsettling presence remains unexplained, leaving lingering questions about what truly unfolded during that night she chose not to share. And the same goes for the woods in the following video. A few years back, in 2022, a woman named Caroline uploaded a short, under 1-minute video to an anonymous TikTok account. It wasn't tied to a creator brand or a known channel, just a simple post titled, "Mysterious Encounter in the Creepy Oregon Woods." At first glance, it seemed unremarkable, but what the footage captured would leave viewers unsettled long after it ended. The video opens abruptly, with Caroline and another woman sitting inside their car as they slowly drive around their own property in rural Oregon. Just a casual moment that quickly takes a disturbing turn. Almost immediately, something catches their attention in the tree line ahead.
Hey, look, there's a treehouse.
Is that somebody on the property?
Where? I don't see
Right there. Right there.
I don't see.
Is that? Who is that?
We need to go for a pop-up. Maybe it's those tweakers.
Who is? He is down on his knees.
What?
He is where.
Partially hidden in the darkness, a pitch-black figure stands in the woods. As it slowly moves, something feels deeply wrong, until, without explanation, it drops to its knees. Then the video ends. There's no follow-up and no answers. What the figure was, how it got there, or what happened next remains unknown. And the same can be said for the woods in the following video. In 2023, an anonymous TikTok account run by a man named Chris uploaded a brief video, less than a minute long, under a simple but unsettling title. "It's Staring at Me." There was no introduction, no background story, and no context beyond what viewers could see for themselves. What followed was a moment so brief and ambiguous that it would leave audiences debating its authenticity long after the video ended. The clip opens in near total darkness, with Chris standing alone in what appears to be the middle of nowhere. There are no visible landmarks, no signs of nearby buildings, just darkness stretching out in every direction. The silence feels heavy, broken only by his presence and the faint sense that he's not entirely alone. Then, suddenly, something changes.
It's staring at me. It followed me home from the gifting rock. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning right now. I think I don't know what to do. But it followed me home and it is absolutely staring at me right now.
From the darkness ahead, a pair of eyes appears, reflecting light as they stare directly at him. Fixed, unblinking, and impossibly clear against the black. There's no visible body, no movement to explain what it is. Just the eyes, watching. Then the video ends. There's no explanation, no follow-up, and no answers. What he saw, how close it was, or what happened next remains unknown. And it's that uncertainty that lingers. Because the most unsettling encounters aren't always about what we see, but about what we're never allowed to understand. And in the following video, the woods reveal that same unsettling truth. A man set out for a night of solitude, camping alone in a treehouse deep within the forest. Elevated above the ground and surrounded by darkness on all sides, the location offered isolation and quiet, exactly what he was looking for. For hours, the night passed uneventfully, the forest settling into its usual stillness. Around midnight, that calm began to break. Strange noises started echoing through the woods below, distant at first and easy to dismiss. He assumed it was an animal moving through the underbrush, something common in such a remote area. But the sounds didn't fade. They grew closer, louder, and more unsettling.
Matala ho. Hey. Chip hài đấy,ผมโดนหลอกเนี่ย มึงใครเนี่ยเฮ้ย
What followed sent a chill through him. The sounds weren't animal calls, but a disturbing blend of crying and laughter that felt deeply wrong. He grabbed his flashlight and aimed it toward the forest floor below. Moving slowly through the darkness was a figure, appearing to be the shape of a girl, producing the same eerie sounds as it walked beneath the treehouse. There was no explanation, no sudden movement, just the figure continuing on. What happened next remains unknown. Whether it was a person, an illusion, or something far more unsettling is unclear. And that unanswered silence is what makes encounters like this linger. Because in the woods, not everything wants to be understood. What began as a battle against the cold quickly became something far more unsettling, where the wilderness reveals how little the frozen darkness truly gives back. The creator behind Sort of Interesting is known for calmly testing gear in real outdoor conditions, but even he would discover how unpredictable a solo Subzero camp can be. On a bitterly cold night, he arrived at a familiar, secluded spot to attempt his first Subzero camping trip, aiming to test a new winter sleeping bag. As heavy snow began to fall, he hurried to set up a low-profile camp, skipping a tarp to stay inconspicuous among the thin trees.
I'm not really, and the trouble I've got here is the tree cover is so spindly that once daylight hits, or if somebody comes past in the small hours with a torch, they're going to see a tarp and that unnatural tall square shape standing out a mile away in here.
With his Alpit Elan hooped bivvy as his primary shelter, he began laying out his sleeping mats, hoping to create a barrier between himself and the frozen ground.
So we've got a basic poncho tarp hybrid that I'm using as a ground sheet and an Alpkit Elan hooped bivvy. I'm so glad I bought that as my first bivvy bag last year. It's just so handy and so convenient. Like I say, super low profile, but that hooped section just makes it feel that little bit more open and substantial than my really basic bivvy bag.
It was at this crucial moment, as he was still arranging his sleep system, that the first drama of the night unfolded. He immediately spotted someone in the distance, their presence a stark contrast to the expected solitude. His heart pounded as he observed movement, sensing that there was indeed somebody walking around out there in the darkness.
This was the moment the first drama of the night happened.
Somebody over there, there's somebody over there. What is going on here?
There has been somebody walking around out there. Unfortunately, I've waited and waited, and you can see the snow started to collect and actually gather on the bivvy and tarp now. And I can't do this in total darkness, so might as well just put the light on and go for it. I don't know if anyone's out there or not. If I've been spotted, I've been spotted. I'll keep my ear out. Obviously, I'm going to hear a lot of noise if somebody approaches the camp tonight.
After a tense wait, he switched on his light, risking exposure to finish setting up camp. Fully aware of how vulnerable he was, he listened for footsteps in the darkness. Then it happened again. A light, this time unmistakably close. Moments later, he discovered clear footprints in the snow leading straight toward his camp. Proof that someone, or something, had approached.
Anyway, this was when the second drama happened, when I knew that I'd seen a light. I've got absolute footprints leading right towards me. I mean, it's continued snowing, but there, yeah. There, you saw that absolute clear. Oh, I hope that's on the camera.
The lights continued to appear, periodically shining directly towards him, intensifying his unease. He also recognized a critical oversight. His own snowy footprints had created an undeniable trail directly to his hidden location.
Every now and then, they just catch directly towards me. Luckily, the lights didn't get that close to me, and that was one of my concerns. I didn't really think before setting out in an area like this that, of course, I was going to leave big snowy footprints that led right up to my location, basically.
The prolonged period of observation and the intense cold had caused him to lose vital body heat, leaving his fingers numb and his focus distracted by the encroaching fear.
So that's been far from ideal, because I've spent so long carrying down, waiting for the lights to pass by. And that's why I'm now on much dimmer lights here, just in case. But I've been so stationary for so long, I've lost all of that body heat that I built up walking through the snow, carrying all the weight of my gear, and it's also given me a lot of distraction, and I haven't realised just how cold my fingers have gone.
He swapped to a phone light, ensuring his head torch remained easily accessible at all times. He admitted to feeling increasingly spooked, his night vision compromised by the bright lights he had been using, making the unknown outside his bivvy feel even more menacing.
Just going to swap to just the phone light because I want to make sure that I've got my head torch on me at all times from now on, just in case. I started to get a little bit spooked then as I was talking, and obviously being dazzled, my night vision's basically zero as I look into the bright lights.
As the early hours of the morning arrived, just after 3 a.m., the temperature had plummeted even further to -1 or 2 degrees. He awoke feeling incredibly cold, realizing he had slipped off his stacked camping mats, allowing the freezing ground to leach warmth from his body.
Right then, my friends, it is just after 3 a.m. and it is very, very cold. I apologise if I sound a bit bunged up here. I've tried to record this to camera a couple of times, and in just the last 2 minutes out of the bivvy, my fingers and my nose are absolutely freezing. It is hovering between -1 and -2 degrees, so the reason I think I've woken up though is because I've slipped off the camping mats, because I've got those 2 smaller ones that I've tried to stack, and I've slipped off them, and obviously just been absolutely chilled from the floor upwards, and so my one leg and my one side is rather chilly, or it certainly was when I woke up.
Around 4 a.m., as he prepared to make hot chocolate to combat the persistent cold, another unsettling sound broke the stillness of the night. It was a noise not far away that instantly put him on edge.
What was that? It's not very far away, and that I do not like.
The sounds continued, causing goosebumps, and he desperately hoped they belonged to foxes, rather than something more sinister or human.
Foxes. Foxes. Oh, I hope that's foxes. Listen. That has given me goosebumps even more than the -2 degrees we're facing. Oh, please let that be foxes. So, as I was about to say before that horrifying interruption, it's now well after 4 a.m. So my intended alarm was 5 a.m, so we're not far from that, so it's not worth trying to get back to sleep in my humble opinion.
The horrifying interruption shattered any hope of returning to sleep, leaving him wide awake and grappling with the lingering sense of unease. Throughout the night, the creator found solace in the simple comforts, like the warmth of his sleeping bag and the sight of a dancing flame from his Trangia stove as he boiled water for hot chocolate.
It would be difficult for me to express how much I love using the Trangia stove in the most comfortable of conditions, but here, in minus temperatures, seeing that flame start to dance around the pot as the water boiled, oh, it was absolutely wonderful.
He reflected on the lessons learned, particularly the importance of a ground sheet, which protected his gear from freezing to the muddy leaves beneath the snow.
So as that was boiling, I started to get a head start on packing away my gear, and this was also when I realised what a good idea it had been to put a ground sheet down, because everything had sort of half melted beneath me and then refrozen as the temperature dropped. It meant that all of the leaf litter and all of the gunk had literally started to freeze solid to all of my kit and all of my gear.
Despite the challenges and the alarming encounters, he managed to pack up, even if it meant hugging some frozen items to his body due to their rigid state.
Everything was so hard because it was so frozen to get back packed down. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to wrap up the last few items in the ground sheet and just hug them to me as I walk away. I know it's a terrible idea and it's absolutely rubbish packing, but it is a lesson that I've now learned forever, and as I also mentioned earlier in this video,
the experience reinforced the importance of testing gear close to civilization, offering hard lessons learned in extreme conditions. What or who was moving through the Subzero woods that night remains unknown. Were the lights and footprints simply other campers, or something far more unsettling? And the animalistic calls, were they foxes or something else entirely? His caution and instincts kept him safe, but the unanswered questions remain, a stark reminder that even familiar wilderness can hold secrets, and not every encounter is harmless. If you enjoyed these clips, subscribe to my channel and click to see more on the video on screen.